Okay, if we have taken any outside services. Suppose we have taken a towing service from a towing company, so the vendor name would be listed. Okay, here, if we have taken any outside services, all the exposures, whatever we have created, right, it can be associated. So you can see here the exposure for exposure. Also we can have multiple claimants, right, suppose there are two people involved in the claim. One is the driver, okay, and one is who is the owner of the car. Suppose whatever damages has happened to the car. Okay, the amount has to be. Company will pay the amount to the car owner, right, not the driver. But if suppose driver has injured himself, so the insurance company would pay the driver directly, right, it would not pay the car owner for that particular damage, right? So similarly. So what we will do, is for these two coverages we'll create two different exposures, so that we can assign these two things to two different claimants. You can see here there is a collision coverage, right? So we have a claimant, Robert Farley, but for bodily injury we have William Weeks, and for liability, also, we have William Weeks. Okay, so that the checks which would be created for these by this coverage and these two exposures, right, it will go to William Weeks, it will not go to Robert Farley. Okay, so that's the reason why we create exposures. To track down the payment to multiple claimants. So this is the work inside the work plan. All the activities is listed, okay, and each and every activity has a due date. Okay, if you will open that. So the due date is automatically assigned, or we have to give that manual? Yeah, there are activity assignment rules. Okay, which we in the activity assignment rules. We have to assign the due dates, and we have to assign the activities also which we want to, like suppose. I will give you an example. In the rule sets, there are activity assignment rules, which will create the activity also. Okay, and it will assign the activity also, and it will. Create means it will assign the due date as well. Okay, so we have a concept of activity pattern. We will go to the administration, okay. I have opened the Scam Center application after a very long time, so it might hang. Okay, now in the administration I will go to the business settings. Sorry, business settings. Then I will see activity patterns. Okay, so I can for each and every activity. Suppose I want to create a different type of activity. Right, for that I can define an activity pattern like, suppose there is a type of activity. Create email. Create recovery email bill. Suppose there is, I want to have this activity, which will create the email for a recovery bill, right? So I will create a new activity pattern and I will specify all these fields. Okay, the subject of the activity. Okay, and the unique identifier code of this particular activity. Now I have this activity pattern, dates, target days. Target days is 2. 2 means suppose, if I created this activity today, then the due date will be after 2 days. Okay, escalation day. If you suppose I create today, then the escalation date is after 3 days. OK means 2 days. The due date means today is 14th. Yeah, on 14th it will. It will has to be finished by 16th, but after 3 more days it will escalate. Suppose 16th right on 19th. OK, on 19th it will escalate this activity. Oh, it will escalate on 19th or 17th. I am confused a little bit about it. I need to check it. I will check it and get back to you whether it is adding to this or whether it is taking it from the starting. Yeah, I'll check it and let you know. But here is the place where we give the due date and the escalation date, OK, and we can also define the importance also of this type of activities as high. Once we create the activity pattern right, we can, from the coding side, we can create the activity. We can write the logic to create the activity. We can create a new activity. Object. OK, with the new keyword and with this particular activity pattern and that activity you create the activity in Studio and in the classes. In classes, and that's what is reflected in the admin screen. You cannot add anything from that. No, it's other way around. So first thing first is whenever I get a requirement for a new activity, right? So what I will do is, from the admin screen, I will create a new activity pattern. OK, so that I could define the subject description, I could define the due date, escalation date, all these things, OK. But I should have a business scenario also, business logic also, when I need to trigger this activity. OK, there can be a business scenario that, OK, when if the customer files the claim and he is having the bodily injury coverage OK in his policy, then this activity should be created. We are defining the activity here, but we are not sorry. We are declaring the activities in Activity Pattern tab, but we are not defining the business logic where we need to trigger this activity. You got no point. So you can see when you don't see anywhere when it is created, when this you know that. OK, but if I'll create this activity, this is how the activity is created, but when it is created, I haven't given that information that when trigger point of the activity. I have to give it from the code. OK, so I'll tell you. I'll tell you from the Go to Scratchpad or I'll show you from the existing code somewhere. Might be. We are calling the activity, creating the activities. OK, I'll see if there is any place where we're creating that activity. Work plan. You can see there is a work plan rules. Right, so you can see that there is a work plan rules. OK, so we have a claim object here and we have a method, create activity from pattern, OK. So we are calling this method here and we are giving the activity pattern name OK, which we have defined in the admin screen. Okay, well, claim acceptance. So here they are calling this claim acceptance. Activity pattern, somewhere they might have. They might have. So this is the code. Okay, this is the activity pattern code. So, as you can see, for each activity there is an activity pattern code right here. So by activity pattern code we are checking from the database and getting the activity pattern and then creating that activity out of that activity pattern OK, and assigning it to the team. So this is the statement which will create an activity for that particular activity pattern on top of that team. This is that statement, OK. I need to check it thoroughly about which code this is claim acceptance, right? So wherein we are having this code as claim acceptance. I need to open each and every activity pattern. And then check. But it's done by this. Okay, so now you have defined when from the code at this point of whenever. So this is a work plan rule. So whenever a claim is created, okay, this work plan rule is executed. Okay. So because when as soon as the claim is created, or as soon as the exposure is created, or as soon as that matter is created dash, right, because claim, exposure matter, these are the root entities. So this work plan will be triggered. Okay, and based on the initial condition, these activities will be created. And how often do we work on these work plans? Suppose someone, if you want to have a set of activities right, and it depends on client to client also, and it depends on their organizational structure as well. Suppose, as soon as the claim is created right, FNOL is created by representative, so there can be an activity generated to its supervisor, so that he can review on that claim. Okay, just a review and pass on.